Thank you so much for joining us. You're watching All Angles. I'm Dion Jacksonville, and a very special welcome to our viewers on onespotmedia.com. So we're talking about night noise and the Noise Abatement Act. Are changes needed? Do we need more restrictions or fewer restrictions? And is the law being enforced? Well, let's just look at a couple of provisions of the existing Noise Abatement Act. So you have, for instance, Section 3, which says that nobody shall, on any private premises or in any public place at any time of the day or night, sing or sound or play any musical or noisy instrument or operate any kind of loudspeaker amplification device so that the sound is audible beyond 100 meters and is reasonably capable of causing annoyance to people in the vicinity. But they say that where the sound is in the vicinity of any house or hospital, nursing home, infirmary, hotel, or guest room, you're going to presume that the sound would cause annoyance. Now, you also have Section 5, subsection 3, which says that where equipment, specified equipment, is used to provide music for dancing or other form of entertainment in the vicinity of any hotel, dwelling house, or guest house, such activity shall not continue later than 2 in the morning. And as we all know, that's one of the very controversial segments, because there are some people who say, no man, dance can't lock off so quick, and there are other people who say we need to sleep. So in the wake of reports that the Noise Abatement Act is to be amended and perhaps some of those provisions perhaps relaxed, we're going to be getting some views on that. Just before we go to our guests, though, let's hear what members of the public had to say.
Yeah, I believe music can go till 6 in the morning. Yeah, cause better thing they will fight more and dance. Yeah, Jamaican people does party late, right back till daylight. 2 o'clock, nothing. 2 o'clock, people does come up nice. Spend them does come out them time there.
By no means is this law being enforced. I'm living probably about 2 miles from the Barbican area, and 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, you can hear very heavy thumping of music, and it wakes you up.
It needs to be dealt with more even-handedly. Some people get extensions, some people don't get extensions. During carnival time, the law is sometimes twisted or, adjusted for who knows who and thing. I just think it needs to be more even, and also somebody needs to be able to use their discretion when enforcing it.
I'm not gonna lie, sometimes the convention of the church is a little bit turn up, but the church get a pass. I don't know why the church get a pass, but it's our culture. If we say something to the church, I don't know, nobody now go touch the church. But sometimes I think some of the convention is uncalled for. 4 o'clock in the night, they must have a crusade and they want to baptize people. Come on, man. And then if the dancer do that, is a different standard. The dancer can't do 4 o'clock in the morning. But only the crusaders can do that.
It has to be more flexible. The law has to be more flexible because you can't stop parties. So it has to adjust to accommodate whatever the situation is.
For Hope Passage specifically, I think it's being enforced because if there's an event in the garden, it usually ends at about 2. However, you have citizens who still complain about the music. But I don't have a problem with it going until 2. 2 is good for me.
I don't think the law is being enforced, especially in urban areas like Spanish Town and Kingston. Because even though there are events for recreational purposes, we understand that that's also a business in itself. There are also people who should be considered who have work in the morning or who have children that they have to send to school. They have to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, travel long distances. Because I myself, I'm from Spanish Town, so I have to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning and dance finish probably 3 a.m. in the night, 4 o'clock the same time I wake up. So it's really taxing on sleep and rest.
I don't feel like the law should be amended. I think the time is reasonable. I just think that the locations where they're having parties, it can't be like in residential areas such as this one where, people are in at a certain time and put their kids to sleep and so on. So if there is a separate area where those events can happen, where it's not disturbing residents, then I feel like the time is fine.
The church, what time if you say them for close? Turn down them nice because you don't need mic for praise the Lord. The Lord can hear us from our voices. So them can turn down the mic.
Some people seem to, I don't know, get around the law somehow and they still keep party until daybreak, you know what I mean? So I don't think it's been enforced. Like many other laws in Jamaica, they never seem to, be enforced at all.
So who better to start the discussion with than the police? And in fact, we have in studio with us Senior Superintendent of Police Steve McGregor. He's Head of Territorial Operations. We also have Dr. Sandra Stanley Nayo, Senior Lecturer in Cultural Studies at the University of the West Indies. Delroy Williams is with us, the Mayor of Kingston. Abigail Henry, Events Coordinator. Gillian McDaniel, who is Senior Director of Entertainment in the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports. I have to take a deep breath whenever I say that. And Professor Brendan Bain is with us as well, Second Vice President of the Hope Pasture Citizens Association. Mr. McGregor,
yes.
On a lockdown, some people and other people in a lockdown. Some people go till daylight and other people say as 2 o'clock come, the blue light them come flashing around. What's going on?
Well, I must say it will happen that some will get away with it and go till morning. Must also confess that there might be some that because of who they know, they might get a blight, because I've seen that happen, I've heard of it. But for the most part, it is being regulated. We have night noises in the corporate area, like 70 for one night, 50 for another night. On the weekends, it's double that. So you must appreciate that some will get away. But we are regulating them.
But there's some areas that people say consistently they have problems. I have a listener who used to text me from the Mannings Hill area who said every weekend is trouble and botheration and can't sleep.
Yes, you see, night noise, parties, round robins, they call them fish fry, night outs, they give it all sort of names. They affix the days to some of them, Dirty Friday, Ugly Tuesday, this and that, Wednesday. So it is all over the place, and it is the easiest way for people, quote unquote, in the inner city to eat a food or make a money, as they say. So it happens. I'll tell you this, when I was the commanding officer for the West Kingston Division, policing night noise was a part of my crime reduction strategy,
Also.
In that, I tell the people in the community when I do my community meetings that if there's any violence happening in this community, you won't get any permission to have dance. So we had a pact. So anywhere that the violence is, no dance. So if no violence, dance. And I used to give them an incentive. Like for argument's sake, on the weekdays when it would be 12, if the area is quiet, I will allow them to go to 1. Not by flouting the law, in that I'll ask my officers to go to turn off and they leave out at 12:30. So they'll reach to the location at 1. That is if the area is quiet and there wasn't any call of any disturbance from the noise. So it is something that is embedded in our culture in Jamaica with the noise.
This culture argument,
Yes.
Mr. McGregor, that's part of the problem. Because I'm sure when I go to people like, for instance, like Professor Bain, he's one of those people who is going to be saying, citizens, that, but we need to sleep. You can't come to with the eat a food argument, culture argument. You need to do your job, and you guys aren't doing it. Even
and we do it,
handedly.
we appreciate that, I'll give you some stats. Since the beginning of the year till April, we allowed 1,189 permits for dance. We had reports, 2,635 reports of disturbance, from these dances that were permitted. We turned off 341. and this is one of the glaring ones now, 98 offenses of being turned off, and after the police officers left the location, it was turned back on. So I tell you about the indiscipline, you know. And we seized 5 systems, we arrested 3 people, and we proceed by summons for 10. And you see how minimal that, because we're quite lenient, you know. Because what we will do is to go and tell them to turn off.
Yes, that's a problem. The people who want to sleep in their beds have
There were 405 dances starting without permit, you know. When the police reach there, there's no permit. There's one very topical one now where there was no permit. And the police went there at 10. And when the police proceeded to turn off, there was resistance.
That's a dub club one you're talking about?
Throwing stones at Skyline, throwing stones, bottles. The police had to use pepper spray to assist the...
Let me be clear. You're saying there was no permit? Because at one stage I was hearing there was.
No, not for this night. They had gotten permit before, you know. But what people don't realize, if you keep a dance or an event every Friday, you have to apply for a permit every Friday. Not because you apply this Friday, it means therefore you can go on and keep it every Friday after that. Because something might happen which would cause us not to permit it for a succeeding Friday. So there was no permit for that one.
All right, well, when we come back, we're going to be hearing from the rest of our guests, getting their thoughts on these and related issues. So stay with us. We're back in a moment.